What's going on, guys? Amazing Whites here, back with another video. Today we're going to be going over the Global Grand Cross end of September tier list, so let's get into it. Alright, so I've made a few adjustments to the tier list from last time. I've moved some units down, I've moved some units up. There isn't really any notable placements. Another thing to note is Red King is Red Fat King on this tier list right now. We don't have a Red Skinny King. I have to message the guy who made the tier list, but yeah, we don't have a Red Skinny King, only Red Fat King, but he is here for Red Skinny King. Just a few things to mention. I had Demon Melly in S tier, but I do think he's fallen off a little bit. There are obviously Dare Yeri, Escanor, Arthur that are meant for Crimson, so we had to make some adjustments there. I moved Red Merlin up because of her freeze and PvP. I think is very toxic and can still work to this day with the recovery disable. Other than that, the rest of the tier list isn't really changed much. I've done like a minor adjustments, mainly with the SR and rare units. I kind of just jumped them wherever I felt. The other tier list from last month got a little bit messed up, so I had to redo basically most of it. But yeah, if you see any like crazy unit that you think is like not deserving of that tier, then I mean, yeah, you can let me know in the comment section below. Another thing, no, I moved Green Hellbrim all the way to this tier because honestly, in Hell Grey Demon, he is not a flex, man. Hell Grey Demon, Green Hellbrim. Okay, you know what? I'll give him like B tier because I do think that his buff is really worth, but I don't know if his poison card and his ult is going to really help you that much, but we'll leave it at that. Let's go over the new units that came out in September. Alright, so the first characters that came out in September were the Lost Vein and the Fraudrin. So I'm going to go over them pretty briefly, nothing crazy. You guys know what they do already. Fraudrin, you basically need to have more CC than the enemy for them to lose or not be able to gain ultimate move gauge. It's a very good passive. That's basically all of Fraudrin's kit. You kind of just whale him out with CC and try and go first, make the enemy not be able to gain ult gauge. Lost Vein Meliodas, as you guys know, he is the best unit in the game, so I think you guys know where I'm putting him. Honestly, he is definitely the best unit in the game with what his kit can provide. Filling the ultimate move gauge, he has the AoE charge, his ultimate scales heavily when you get max 6 out of 6. I am a little biased because I've been using a 6 out of 6 Lost Vein, but once you have him at max and he's getting that 60% per card, it can become a little bit nasty. So for the placings, I think I'm gonna put Fraudrin in the, we need a whale tier, man. If you whale out Fraudrin, he's definitely like an SS tier unit at the moment in the PvP meta and just in general, right? He is very good if you can whale him out. Other than that though, because most people are not going to whale out Fraudrin, I think I'm going to put him in the B tier because overall his kit doesn't really work that well. He does have a single target extort. He does it also have, I think, what is it, a cancel stance or something? Remove buff, cancel stance. Yeah, so it's not really a crazy kit. The most crazy thing about his like kit overall is going to be the passive, right? But I don't think that's going to be as beneficial for free-to-play or light spenders. So overall, I'm going to put Fraudrin in the B tier. For Lost Vein Meliodas, you guys already know where I'm putting him. He's at the top of God tier, and the reason for that is because he's literally best unit in the game. He's really good at farming. He was actually meta for the farming on the Lilia event, which is crazy. He's top tier in PvP, super meta. He literally deletes teams with his ultimate. He can delete teams with his cards alone. So just based on that, Lost Vein gets the God tier. Alright, so now we're gonna be going over the New Year's units. So I don't think I want to go over each of them individually because this is a lot of like look how many units I have to go over, guys. I don't want this video to be over like 20 minutes. I'm trying to keep it like short. But for the Meliodas here, Green Demon Melly, nothing really crazy. I mean, the only really benefit for these New Year's units is that they force demon spawns. I think that's the most important thing to note about them. Meliodas forces Crimson Demon, Jericho forces the Grey Demon, and Elizabeth forces the Red Demon. Overall, the only benefit for having these units really in your box would be to force the demon spawns. I do think their kits are pretty decent. Obviously, Liz's kit is actually really good with the AoE heal and 300%, which is, you know, really good. You heal 40% of damage dealt, 300% AoE. She removes debuffs, grants debuff immunity, and increases defense related stats. She does have the same heal as the other Elizabeths in the game, which is, you know, really good. I think Elizabeth is probably the best one of the three. Demon Melly probably at a second, and then Jericho at a third, but she is still really good because of her critical strike passive right here, where she increases the crit chance of allies, right? Overall, for placements, I didn't want to go too in-depth into their kits, but I think you guys know what they do already. For Demon Melly, I'm going to give him the A tier. I do think he's about on par as Red Demon Melly at the moment. He is honestly, he's better than Red Demon Melee, I would think. Red Demon Melee, his only usage right now is in Crimson Demon, and he's already been outshined in Crimson Demon. At least Green Demon Melee can be used in farming because he has an AoE. He does have decent single target damage with his preventing ultimate move gauge, and he does have the weak point. So overall, I do think that Green Demon Melee is a little bit better than Red Demon Melee, so we'll give him the A tier. For the Red Elizabeth, I do think she is the best of the new units right there from the New Year's set, so I'm gonna give her the A tier also. She has an AoE attack that does 300% heals, which is really good, and then the defense related stats buff, which is also really nice to have, right? So that's the reasoning for that. For Jericho, I do think she's probably gonna be a B or low A tier. I'll give her like low A tier. The reason for that is because her passive is very beneficial in like Red Demon. I've had uses with her in Red Demon. The setup is a little weird. You have to bring like Marmis and you have to get it all set up. But once everything is situated, she can actually be very good in Red Demon. So I'll give her that. Alright, now let's hop into the Valentines units. So the Valentines units, they were also on the banner with the New Year's units, but I wanted to go over them separately because I do think that the Valentines units are more beneficial to have than the Demon Forcing units. So let's go over the Zaniri right here. So Zaniri, overall her kit kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. Her kit isn't really that good. She has the same heal card as Blue King, which is nice. Her ultimate is brand new, where it creates a barrier and increases HP related stats by 25%. Pretty nice skill right there. She fills the hero's ultimate move gauge by 1 when removing an ally's debuff, so very helpful in Grey Demon. I don't really think she's anything crazy though. Other than that, she's only really used for Grey Demon Hell and in the sub slot because of her bonus. But that's going over the Zaniri right there. Elaine, nothing really much to note about. She does have the same card as Escanor, but she doesn't have the same power as Escanor. She does decrease defense related stats for all enemies for 40% for 3 turns, which is not bad. She does have the cancel buffs and stances and stun for 1 turn ult that can scale to 735%. Yeah, so she increases the allies stat related buffs by half of the values in deathmatch, which is super nice for Derriere. I think Elaine is honestly the best one of these units because of her passive alone. And then for Jenna, and not anything crazy, honestly. Jenna and Zaniri are a little worse than Elaine. Overall, let's go over back to the tier list real quick. Overall, I do think Elaine is the best one, so she's gonna be probably, what am I thinking, probably around like mid A tier. I wouldn't say she's anything crazy, like, you know, she's good because of her passive, so I will give her that. She's definitely the best Elaine in the game, so there's that. And then we have Jenna and Zaniri. I think they are bottom of A tier, nothing crazy. Both of them are bottom of A tier just because their only viable uses is in Hell Demons as the drop bonus increase. Elaine does have another reason of being there, which increasing the Derriere buffs effects or the Escanor buff effects, which is, you know, super beneficial to have. So I do think she gets the edge over these two units. But overall, these units are good if you get them for the cosmetic upgrades. More rewards for your team is obviously really good, so they're not bad units to have. So definitely make sure to pick them up if you want to start farming a ton of cosmetic upgrades. Alright, so now we're on the last 2 units. Right here we have the red Mono. So let's go over Mono real quick because she did come out first. Mono is, she's not really that good at the moment in the game. She will be a lot better when Blue Fest King comes out because he is the one who brings the debuff team to its peak, right? So for her first card, she has Sever, 400% of attack. Her second card has Poison, 375% of attack, and then she has a Bleed ultimate that can scale to 683%, starting at 455%. Her passive increases the hero's damage dealt by 50% when attacking enemies with bleeding, poisoned, or shock debuffs, which is, you know, it's a pretty decent passive, but overall, she doesn't really have a place in any metas right now in PvE or PvP. So at the moment, I do think she's going to be probably C tier. She's definitely the best of C tier, if we're going to be completely honest. No other unit here in C tier, I think, really compares to her. I mean, Green Elaine's not bad. Yeah, that's basically that. Mono's getting the C tier. For Easton, I think Easton's a different case right here. Let me just, what happened to this page right here? Alright, so I think GC database messed up Blue Easton, but yeah, so basically her kit, she fills ultimate move gauge by 2 orbs on her level 3, 300% AoE. She increases attack related stats by 30% for 3 turns, which is the same buff card as Green Hellbrim. She has a Spike ultimate AoE, 350% of attack, and then can scale to 525% of attack. And then for passive, she increases the hero's basic stats by 5% for each buff on allies and enemies, which is very nice to have when she's buffing the team with her attack related stats buff. So overall, if we're going over Easton as a character in the tier list, I do think she's going to be probably in the S tier because of her attack related stats buff, and because she does have the AoE filling the ultimate move gauge. I do think she has a place in most metas for even farming and for PvP. She's honestly pretty good for both. So that's going to be it for the tier list. I didn't want this video to be too long, let me just zoom out here to show you guys the rest of the full tier list here. So this is going to be the full tier list right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.